discussion. So we have spoken about in the previous sessions, at least discussed at length about ascension. What is ascension? Why ascension is essential? How can we be in the path of ascension? How meditation would help? So we have gone through a lot of different series of conversations on that. And then we spoke about the fact of what ascension can bring us all about. The change within us, the energy, the patterns, how energy is felt at different levels by being in different states, how energy impacts, whether it's a block, it's a field, it's a track, it's a trap, whatever those different scenarios of energy, how they would impact us in our day-to-day lives. So we spoke about it, different types of energies, different way how it interacts and all that. Now, ultimately, these things will have to lead to the fact of why we are here. Every one of us are here for only one reason, that is oneness, right? So today we will talk about oneness. What is this oneness all about? Why is oneness essential for human beings? How do meditation, we talk about meditation. How does meditation help to be in oneness? How does service help to be in oneness? Why is teaching so important? Why I have to teach? So every time, even in our society, not just in our society as PSSM, even outside society, anyone who is looking for enlightenment, who is looking for realization, who is looking for liberation, who is looking for happiness, peace in their life, who actually wants to understand the purpose of life, who am I, in so many different ways and variations, there is this concept called oneness. So today we will try to demystify this concept of oneness. So before we get going into the subject, this topic is a very vast topic, and I'm sure in next 45 minutes to 1 hour, we won't be able to cover the length and breadth of it, but we will cover the gist of it. Now, what is oneness? Anyone? What is oneness?
We are part of one cosmic energy. Like all the soul are like part of one soul.
Okay. What else?
Feel to everybody as a oneness, equally. Everyone is equal, the oneness.
Everyone is equal. In what way?
In what way? Means everyone is the soul, the same soul like what I have now. So everyone is equal, not looking people in a different way, but they are all equally equal and treat them in an equal manner.
Okay, you're close. Anyone else? Any other version?
I might have a different perspective. So to me, oneness is more, please correct me if I'm wrong here. Oneness is more like self-integration, where you have all the thoughts, emotions, feelings, all these are aligned to yourself. They're more coherent, because sometimes you would be thinking something but feeling something else, and then you may not be fully integrated. So I was thinking on those lines, where oneness is more like you're fully integrated.
Mm-hmm. Integrated with what?
Integrated with yourself, integrated within yourself is what I mean.
So what about outside then?
More in terms of the union between the mind, soul, and the spirit.
Yes. Anyone else?
But I would love to hear your thoughts, obviously.
Yes.
So can I say something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So whatever is there within us is also there within all others. If we are able to see that the same thing within others, then it's not different, it's all oneness. If we can get to that point, then there are no differences. There is no how you treat yourself, you also treat others the same way to some
Yes.
extent.
Can I tell?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, oneness means I'm not separate from life. Like oneness is the experience of understanding. There is no real separation between you, others, me, everything. So all are, whatever I'm seeing in myself, the same thing I have to see from others also. So there is no duality.
Good. Good. Yes. Yes.
Can
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yeah. We are created from the God's thought. God and his thoughts are one and the same. Since I am created from the God's thought, I am also one with him. So that's how I feel this oneness.
Yes. Yes. So most of your responses are towards that identification, right? So, and some of you are talking about knowing, some of you said about seeing. So now let's look at this concept of oneness, right? It is, you're all almost there, right? It is, most of it is like that. What it is oneness is a direct experience, right? We always have to look at it as not knowing, not seeing. It is directly as being. It's a direct experience that there is only one consciousness that is appearing as many, right? That is oneness. So if we try to bring a perspective in my meditation or in your meditation, how do I get to this oneness, right? How do I even comprehend this concept of oneness? I am coming as a doer. I am sitting in meditation. I am closing my eyes. The doer is there. The doing is there, right? And of course, as you do it, the meditation happens. You go into the happening state. From that state, you go into the oneness state eventually. So what is happening at that oneness state? When I'm coming out of my meditation, I'm saying myself as I'm in oneness. When I went as an individual. When I came, I did not come as individual. I came as awareness. Right? So if we try to put a practical name to it, hey, how do I define oneness, right? It is a lived state of awareness. The highest state of awareness that you live, that you are, that you experience every moment by moment, that is oneness. It is the highest state of consciousness that is available in the universe, not just Earth, in the universe. There is nothing beyond oneness, right? So for us to get to that oneness is what we are all bringing different types of practices. Whatever may be the ritualistic work that you are doing today, doesn't matter. At the lowest end, start with something as worships, even excuse me, even to the factor that you do not do anything. You are an atheist. Even at that level, ultimate goal for human being is oneness. That one experience, what I cannot deny for myself, is oneness. Now the question is oneness a belief? Is this an idea? Is this something that is out there? That's the question that we have to start to explore. Every individual has to explore in his or her own journey, trying to unravel the mystery behind this oneness. Okay. Now, each of us have our own experiences. Some of us may be in the state of oneness. Some of us are getting into that state of oneness. Some of us are preaching, I want to be there. Some of us have a beautiful intention towards that oneness. A lot of different levels are there. But the state of oneness is only one, and it's only one and only one. There is no contemplation. There is no confusion. There is no absolute chaos in that statement. Right? If any of you disagree, please raise your hand. We can talk about it. Right? Because if I do not comprehend a state like that, then where is the question of peace? Where is the question of happiness? Where is the question of not having suffering? Right? If I do not have a state like that, the entire ancient philosophy, right, whatever we talk about, the Vedic culture, Upanishads and everything, that we understand, the new age spirituality that you talked about, the spiritual scientists who have discovered this through their own journey or path, everyone comes at this state of oneness and the bus stops. After that, there is nothing else. You live your time on earth and then you leave, you depart. That's it. So if each of us try to look at it, okay, what is my state of oneness? Is this something that I have to achieve? Is this something that I have to realize? So what happens in divine oneness? Anyone? What happens in divine oneness? Why is this state such an important thing for humanity?
Getting cosmic energy.
Cosmic energy, you will get it even you don't have to be in oneness.
Okay.
You just are at your peak level of consciousness.
Peak level of?
Highest level of consciousness.
Highest
So you're
level.
fully aware, and then you're, probably going back to my same point earlier in terms of you're more aligned with your own things. I don't know if to use the word self-integrated or not, but that's where I was coming to in terms of, you're in full awareness of your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, all match up to your peak of consciousness there. Conscience, not conscious, conscience there.
Okay. So I will give you the context in a different way, right? I mean, the way you were saying is, hey, I have my thoughts, emotions, and words and actions becoming one, right? That is not really oneness. You will still have that differences, right? You will still carry your body. You will still carry your mind. You will still carry your emotions. Everything is happening at that space. What you will not have, you no longer feel that you are separate. That is oneness. What happens in divine oneness is, number one, you no longer feel separated. Number two, your breath and others' breath as nature and the life as it stands, they all go through as one. You don't feel like there is a separate entity out there who is having his own life, who is having his own things and all that. Even though at the factual level, you identify the body, your conscious is on the oneness state. So how do I define that? How do I say this? Okay, when the life is flowing through me as life, how do I state that? Is the sense of me, the sense of you, right? The difference that is showing between you and me, that is no longer there. That is eliminated. The sense is gone, right?
So is oneness same as divine oneness, or is there a difference between
both are
using
same.
the word different? Okay.
Both are same. Divine oneness is just a different way to say it, but it's all same. It's the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
So the awareness that you are bringing and looking through your eyes is as if you are looking through all eyes. That is oneness. Very important. In that state, what happens is there is no sense of doer. There is no sense of ego. There is no sense of I. Because there is no sense of ego, there is no attachment. Everything happens as it happens. So life flows through you as you. That's it. There is no connection. There is no getting. There is no coming. There is no going. There is no concept like that. So why is this important for human beings? The short and sweet answer why it is important is only in the state of oneness you will no longer suffer. Why is suffering a big issue? The most important aspect of suffering is, how do I define suffering? Suffering is born from separation. And peace is born from oneness. Naturally, we are coming from the state of oneness into this separated world. Right? We all agree to that. I am a divine being out here to have human experience. I'm not a human being out to have spiritual experience. I'm a divine being. Okay? My home is not this home. My home is somewhere else. I came here to experience my humanhood within my divinity. With my divinity, I came here to experience humanhood. Right? So, because suffering is born, because when you were born, you came with suffering. Every one of us were born on earth. We brought suffering. We are suffering. Now, what we are trying to do, whatever may be the means, whether you are doing service, whether you are teaching, whether you are meditating, whether you are reading, whatever may be that one or two things, the practices, the so-called practices that you are doing, you are trying to go back to your state. That state, that final state, the ultimate state is oneness. I want peace. Someone will say, I want happiness. I want sorrow-free life. Then the answer is oneness. So, if we try to bring this into perspective, why in our society, especially PSM, Pyramid Spiritual Society, why Patriji said oneness is the way of life? Because that is the only state where you are joyous all the time. You're joyful. You are living the life. Otherwise, you are not living the life, you are dragging the life. Because you are worried about energies, you are worried about your actions, you are worried about, each of us always look at our thoughts, each of us try to work towards our emotions. How am I feeling? What did I brought in my past baggage? What am I carrying in this lifetime as baggage? Whatever I created this life, how my next life is going to be, it is always dwelling in that duality, that which is not the reality that we always live through. So what is happening with that is suffering is inevitable. And every one of us, the very nature of us is to not have suffering. It's a direct conflict of your nature and your reality. That is the reason every one of us will always look for that peace, that happiness in our life. Hey, how do I be peaceful? How do I be happy? Even you're watching a movie, even you're sitting and talking to your kids, even you're going and having an ice cream, whatever may be that 1, 2, 3 things that you are doing daily in your life is only for this joy and happiness. So if we try to bring this into perspective, right, what are my core feelings, right? How am I feeling separated? If we are saying so, if nature is saying, if masters are saying, if scriptures are saying, if spiritual books are saying, everyone who has experienced is also saying that it is only in the oneness everything is there, why is that I am not able to experience that oneness? Why is sense of separation a issue? The simple answer to this is basically when you identify yourself other than your nature, what starts to come out is fear. You will conflict yourself. You will have greed. You will have jealousy. You will have loneliness. You will have violent emotional state, outbursts. Because when there is a second thing in the world, it starts with fear. With fear comes everything, right? This is me. This is for me. That is for them. I must protect myself. I must compete. I must compare. I must control. I own this. I drive this. I am the one. Right? There is no collective I. The individual I takes over, and that becomes the root cause for sense of separation and suffering. Now, I do not have any way, either of us, right? Any of us here do not have a way to let out of that frustration. Can we? Just by talking, can you let it out? Just by emotionally outbursting, are we able to get it out? No, we need some kind of a practice. That practice has to be disciplined. That practice has to be not very mechanical. That practice has to take you into your senses, beyond the state of your senses, your body, your mind, and give you that natural state that you can experience, that you can live, that you can be. So every time we talk about this oneness is not something that you are trying to get from outside. The oneness, what we are trying to do is the very nature of you. You are just trying to unblock. A lot of times there is a misconfusion or misconception that my meditation, I am getting this, you're not getting anything in meditation. If you are thinking that I am getting all these things in meditation, then the concept of meditation is not understood well. The concept of meditation is not getting. Concept of meditation is letting go. You are letting go what you are not. You have the energies to be at the state what you are as oneness. You are born as oneness. Before you were born, you were on oneness, state of oneness. After you were born, you came into that separated world. From separation, now you are going back to oneness. That is your practice. So what does that mean? That means you have to let go. You have to let go fear. You have to let go guilt. You have to let go everything, attachments. Whatever you are carrying in your three states, mental, emotional, and physical states, you have to let go. So when you come to the practice of oneness, when you come to the rescue of nature to say that, okay, I want to be what I am, right? What happens is the healing happens at the root, not at the surface. Now you're ready to go back to your state of being, right? If I'm trying to say that I am feeling that I am part of oneness, I am thinking that I am oneness, I am reading myself as oneness, I'm seeing myself as oneness, I'm listening that there is a concept called oneness, then that is not oneness at all. You cannot comprehend oneness with your senses, nor with your body, nor with your mind. It is beyond. Now let's talk about without oneness, how is our life? Right? How is my mind today? My mind is always alert. It has absolute logical thinking, a very good reasoning. Everything that comes my way, there is a level of questioning that happens, and it gets very defensive in most cases. My emotions are very swingy, they are very strong, and they are very bold, right? I have very strong emotions. Obviously, with my mind having external chatting all the time, my emotions are pretty active and outbursted. What happens is there is stress, there is anxiety, there is a lot of dominance of negativity in my life. Relationship feel fragile all the time. Some moments I am very, very happy. Other moments I am very, very sad with the same very person that I am with. The morning, we are so happy. Afternoon, we are shouting at each other. Evening, we are trying to kill each other. Isn't it? This is life without oneness. Now, how do you see when you are in oneness? What is this? When I bring oneness into my life, how does this looks like? Right? There is an inner sense of safety and security that arises naturally as part of your nature. Because there is no second thing, there is nothing. It's only one consciousness that you're looking for, and you are already in that experience. You are not trying to fight with anything, right? Comparison, comparison, fear, anxiety, tensions, none of these will exist anymore. Compassion becomes a natural way of living. You're very compassionate naturally, right? And your mind, this is the most important thing. The mind rests in silence for most part. How many of us experience this silence? The inner silence. Right? This inner silence is the most important thing. That is where awareness, when you are aware, you are in the inner silence. You're always in the inner silence. That's why when you are in that awareness, you cannot go wrong. It's not that you would go wrong. You cannot go wrong. Even if you want to do wrong, you cannot do wrong when you are in the inner silence. That is what we call stillness. It's a beautiful thing. That is what meditation is all about. The outcome of meditation is awareness. The outcome of meditation is stillness. If I am not able to be in the stillness, then there is no question of experiencing oneness. It is a direct outcome of what you have started as doing, eventually as happening, merging into that oneness, state of oneness. Right? If you have lost yourself to stillness, then you have lost the connection to yourself. When you have lost connection to yourself, you have lost the connection to the world and universe. There's a book called Stillness Speaks by Tolle, right? He talks about this concept called when you are out of touch with your stillness, you are out of touch with yourself. When you are out of touch with yourself, you are totally out of touch with the world and universe. You're no longer there. You're just an entity. So voice and connection keep disconnecting. Dinesh sir, is it for
Yeah,
everyone or just for me? Everyone is also feeling the same thing, disconnected?
No, I
It's
don't see
good.
any
No,
issue.
it sounds fine.
maybe
It's
it's
all,
on mine then.
yeah, maybe it's on your side, sir. Just check on that. So now let's talk about a classic example. If two people are talking, okay? If two people are talking without oneness, what would happen? There is a kind of a conversation going on, right? You are wrong, I am wrong, I win, you win. This is the typical state of duality, isn't it? Without being in that state of oneness. What happens if you are in oneness? What happens? Is there any confusion? Is there any you are wrong, I am wrong? Is there any factor of I must win or I am control?
No,
No,
no.
you accept.
Exactly. There is absolutely no misunderstanding. The clarity is there at the start, in the middle, at the end. Go ahead. Someone raised the
Yeah,
hand.
and Master, this is Lakshmi again. So, quick question.
Yes.
I can turn on my camera.
Yes.
So, why? I mean, I understand the concept of oneness. I also understand what it is. But why would there be some situations where you feel the oneness, the peace, where you have reached the peace, or probably making peace with certain things, and where you feel like, okay, this is what it is, and then you let go of something? But there are some other, there could be some experiences that must have formed at the identity level, which are so hard to let go or probably hard to make peace with. So essentially, where I'm trying to get to is, can there be some situations in our life where we feel like, yes, we have reached the highest state, but there are also other situations in the life where it's very hard to actually get to that stage? And when we actually reflect on the second set of things, those experiences must have formed at the primitive or the formative state of our lives. So, how would we get to the root of it? Again, I understand it's through the meditation, but there could be some that are more harder. The more harder we try, they're even more harder to actually get to the state of oneness too. I mean, am I making sense?
You are. I mean, these are,
Okay.
see, that is why it is called journey, right? That is why when you start meditation, it's not like overnight thing, right? You go through that journey. As part of that journey, you start to unfold yourself. Right now, each of us are folded in our own way, and we are not ready to unfold it. When you start to go inside, now you start to realize that there is much more than what you know of or what you have been. So you slowly start to unfold it. In that process of unfolding, you realize yourself in every aspect of it, whether it is a karmic lesson that you are to run, or it is a soul work that you have to do, or it is an emotional activity that you have to let go, right? Anything, it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. At a body level, mind level, senses level, it doesn't, intelligence level, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you are coming into that state of acceptance, right? Without that acceptance, there is no release. Without that release, you will have to come back.
Yeah.
That is the very essence of the knowledge that we are trying to get out, right? When I do meditation, what am I doing? I'm getting the eligibility to get this knowledge, the very knowledge that can be letting me out of my karmic bondages. Who is actually blocking my own karma? My I is blocking me. None other than, there is no one else blocking my progress. I am blocking my own progress. I in this context is mind. It is your mind that is blocking your own progress. So what you are trying to do is you are trying to release that mind, that which is blocking you, so that you are in the natural state of oneness. Every one of us in our deepest state of sleep, we are experiencing oneness. Why is that I am not able to have that very experience when I am in the waking state? Because of my mind. So as you start doing more practice, whatever the practice that you have chosen, it will help you to release what you're holding in there. Whatever you're holding in there. As you keep releasing it, you will become open. You have to open yourself to a point where there is nothing else to open. That is oneness, right? If I see, I'm not just being a oneness, hey, you and me are in oneness, one conscious. No, even the table is in the oneness consciousness. Even the lights are in oneness consciousness. Anything and everything that is in this universe is part of that oneness, right? That is what oneness consciousness means, right? So our experience, how it unfolds, is based upon what is the state that you are in your inner. If I have a different inner state, I will have a definite different outcome that I will have, right? Obviously, if my state is level 2, my experience will be level 2. If my state is level 4, my experience will be level 4. If my state is highest level, then my experience will also be at the highest level, where I am not experiencing because the doer is no longer there. The universe is breathing as universe. That's it. So now to answer your second question, how does this relate to me? Because that is that when you are taking this journey, you are purifying yourself. Only the pure souls will get to that state of oneness. There are two requirements there. One is your karmic balances. You have to come to a consensus within you, right? As a whole, that you are soul consciousness. Number one, you have to have the experience of being. Number one, for you to be in the oneness. Number two, you have to be pure. That's why if it's a lot of times we talk about this concept of void, right? For you to go to void, your mind has to allow it. For your mind has to, if mind has to allow it, the mind has to be pure. It has to be with the nature. You have to be dharmic, you have to be very truth oriented. You have to, you cannot carry, different influences within your mind, whether it is medium influences or any other, vegetative influences, whatever may be, medical influences, whatever may be. Everything has to be out from your system. That way you are becoming more natural as an individual, and then you are gradually progressing in your state. Good.
Thank you so much.
So now let's also understand what is the myth. What is that which is not divine oneness, right? If I'm getting a emotional excitement, hey, I've gone through this meditation, I've got this, I've got that, I'm getting very excited, I get this experience, I get that, I've been there, I've seen that, I've gone through that, that is not oneness. The moral goodness that you carry within you, within your heart, that you wanted to help somebody, that is not oneness. That has nothing to do with oneness. You withdrawing yourself from the worldly affairs. A lot of times we do that. It's called vairagya. Iha mutra phala vibhogaha vairagya is how it's called in Shastras. You have detached yourself from the worldly affairs. You have withdrawn yourself from the worldly affairs for whatever may be the reason. That is not oneness. Right? Your personality still remains. The separatedness you're feeling as a temporary measure that it is dissolving because of the way that you have looked at particular experience, because of the knowledge that you have read from a particular book. You do not have the experience, but you brought some of these things into your life and you started to feel that without my individuality, I can still be in oneness. No, that is not oneness. It is an absolute state. Once you are there, you are there. That is the practice, right? So there are temporary cases where you may feel, you may see, you may listen, you may think, I need to be like that, I need to be. Those are not related to oneness. Those are all your senses, your body, your mind, really acting upon to give you that kind of a state. That's why it is not something that you bring upon, on and off. It is a state that you develop over a period of time. You live through it. And that's why it is a constant practice. The practice has to be very constant. Right? Someone may ask you, hey, why are you doing this service? The answer to that is, if you are really in oneness, you cannot not do service. Service is part of your life, because once you are in oneness, you're not forcing it. It is just happening through you. You are a medium. The doership, the owner, the I, the ego is you no longer carry any of that. So there is absolutely no division of comparison, no division of confusion in terms of what is your goal, where you want to go. So if we try to put this into perspective, okay, how do I achieve divine oneness? Okay, how do I achieve divine oneness? Let's talk about it. This is the most important part of the discussion today. Anyone want to just how do I get to the divine oneness? What are the natural phases, natural states?
We should be humble, polite,
Okay.
respective to everyone, everybody.
Okay. So what should I do to get there? What's my practice?
By being
Meditation.
conscious?
Yes.
By being, how do I be inconscious?
Meditation.
About
What do I
your
do?
surroundings, about what you do and what you feel.
Awareness
Okay.
is very important. The power of speech is important, like how to talk, when to talk, how much we need to talk. We have to be more silence instead of talking too much.
Mhm. Mhm.
Being the
Okay.
truth.
Honest.
That's a very
We
bold
should be,
statement, that being the truth.
yeah, we should be honest.
Honest. Okay.
I think purposeful meditation.
Purposeful
Be
meditation.
be clear on why you're doing, and then the stronger, yeah, people say that the stronger the sankalpam is. I mean, especially even to do meditation, sometimes we won't be able to do it, but the more sadhana or meditation that you do, the better you can actually get, I mean, to that
What
state,
is
the
so?
easier you
What
can
is
get.
happening? So you're saying meditating, right? Purposeful meditation. Someone also said. What is happening in meditation? How am I getting into oneness?
We will be in the being mode by the meditation.
So Swadhyaya is important. Sajjana Sangatyam, if you do like regularly, we'll come to know wisdom, everything, and we can share our experiences.
Okay. So let's talk to understand, right? The concept of, we understood the concept of oneness. Now, how do I practice this oneness, right? So first, what is that I need to be in that state of oneness? I need to go back, right? I need to go back from the highest state to the lowest. When I say oneness, we call it as unity, right? We are in union, communion with the universe. That is oneness. Okay. So I need to get there. Right now, I have a individual person. I, as an individual, has a personality, and whatever the practice I bring. Let's take meditation here as an example. Right? Okay, I am doing meditation. What is that I should do in meditation? So what happens when I sit in meditation is naturally I get thoughts. What is that should be happening in meditation? Observation, right? So what should happen as the first practice that you bring as part of oneness is you have to bring yourself into meditation, and you should align or shift from thinking to observing. Agree? Instead of trying to have the doership all the time, you have to let go of the doership and say, let the doing happen on its own. I am the witness, right? Thinking to observation, observing. What happens when I am observing? Now let's get to the next stage. What happens when I start to observe?
Things go automatically.
What's that?
Things go automatically.
What happens when you observe? When you go deeper in meditation, what happens?
You stop
Silent.
thinking.
Huh?
Silent.
Thoughts
You
slowly
stop
get
thinking, and
reduced.
your thoughts are not like so much focused on what's going on. You just observe it.
Yes. Yes, that is there. But what is happening after that? As I observe, where am I going? What is happening? What's the next natural phase?
You're
Stop
detached.
reacting. Stop reacting.
Stop reacting. Yes. What else?
Naturally coming to the void state wherein we do have no thoughts.
Okay. That is, yes, that is there. That after that, what happens? Deeper state. See, what
We
happens is,
we surrender everything like feelings, emotions, attachments, fear, ego.
as you're observing, you're not even attached to any of that, right? The more and more you start to observe, you start to dissolve. The more and more you start to dissolve yourself, what is happening? Who is dissolving? The I is dissolving. When the doer itself is dissolving, what is there?
No suffering.
What?
No suffering.
No?
Suffering.
Suffering.
No suffering. Yeah, of course, no suffering. But what is that state called? That's called being. So it is important to understand that you have become what you have witnessed. See, you came to meditation today, you sat on meditation, you closed your eyes, you started to witness, right, or observe your breath. The observer is there until the point you hit where you went into a deeper state of a void. At that point, everything dissolved. What is that state of everything dissolved? Is you have become what you are. Isn't it? Being. Right? What are the natural states to get to being? Is thinking, feeling, doing, being. Right? Anything you want in this world, you want to buy a car, you think about it, then you have a good feeling about it, then you put your action, go look at dealer and do that, and then eventually you buy your car, you become that, you get that home, right? Whatever you released as intention, now it got manifested physically. Same thing here in meditation. The doer is dissolved, then who is there? The being is there. That's it. Who you are, the real you is there. That is being. So what is the first phase is I am moving from my thinking state into the observing state. As I start to observe it, I become the being. When the observer dissolves, I become that being, and that being becomes unity with everything. That is divine oneness. That is why meditation is a natural progression to get to oneness. So you cannot force oneness. Can you? In this process, can you force oneness? You cannot. Or is oneness giving you something? Is meditation giving you something? If meditation is giving you an astral travel, is that oneness? If meditation is keeping you busy with your bodily activities, okay, I want to restore my health, I sit and do meditation, is it oneness? Identification, anything that you are identifying with your thoughts, with your emotions, and the type of roles that you are playing. I am so and so. My name is so and so. I work here. I do this. I do that. Any identification whatsoever that you have, even at a body level, they are the blocks for oneness. Oneness is, you can only get to oneness when you become that one thing. You have to be in the being, state of being. What is the state of being within me? Soul. I have to have the experience of my soul in my own meditation for me to be, or for me to get to that oneness. There is so much literature that talks about the concept of Aham Brahmasmi, Tat Tattvam Asi, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. There is so much Arihant, Bodhisattva, Buddhahood, a lot of literature, a lot of textbook knowledge is out there. But the practical experience cannot come anything close to what you have learned or what you have heard. It is a totally different experience. That which cannot be said, that which cannot be understood or even try to understand with your mind. That is being. Right? So if I am trying to get to that highest state through my meditation, what is that I should not have? The one and only one thing I should not have I should not do in my meditation is condition. I should not come to meditation with a condition. I should let it happen. So what is my role of meditation for oneness? Mental silence. The noise that always goes on in my mind, I have to silence that. Second thing, the observer has to become the doer, thinking, moving into observing. My mental noise is now silent. What has to happen? The doer, the false doer, has to dissolve. Why it has to dissolve? To reveal my awareness. My awareness is inside. For me to have that experience of my awareness, my doership, the false doer, has to dissolve. So the observer, whoever is observing it, the false I, has to become the being, which is my awareness. So for me to get there, my thoughts have to become very clear. The observer has to become very, very clear. My thoughts have to slow down. Without my thought pattern coming down, I will not have an opportunity to split, to get into that gap. Only when I come into that observing state, I can connect to that observed thing, whatever I'm observing. Then there is an opportunity of being, which will eventually take me into oneness. So when I become the soul conscious, I sit in meditation. Now you are in the soul consciousness. What else is left? Self-consciousness. That is oneness. Someone may ask, hey, I have realized my being. Is that oneness? No, it is not. It is partially only. You have realized that you are soul, but you have not realized that everything is also soul. You have to realize that also. So this practice of what I am trying to do is the real purpose of meditation. If I am doing meditation for anything else, then you are time pass. It is called time pass. My natural state, what I am, I have lost it. I am reconnecting to my natural state. That is the purpose of meditation. If that is not my purpose, I am doing it for something else, then that is not meditation. Right? So, so this practice as to how I get that, how I become the observer, when the observer becomes the being, when the being becomes unity with everything, this is the practice. Why is my breath? Breath has no religion, breath has no ego, breath is so natural, breath dissolves on its own. From phase to phase, you don't try step 1, step 2, step 3, there is nothing like that. It happens naturally, and breath is kriyatmak. It is not karmic, it is kriya. That which happens on its own, you have no control of it. That is breath. And when your attention rests on the breath, your mind drops naturally. It is the natural phase. When that happens, you get into that boundless entry. Right now, I am boundful to my limited eye. I see everything as per my limited eye. Right? But I know that I am a boundless entity. So for me to experience that, I need to drop my mind, the limited eye entity, and then I become boundless. With that boundless, your oneness appears. It is there. It is already there. When we did this old meditation day, December 21st, right? One breath, one world, one consciousness. That is oneness. Direct awareness. The oneness, the state of being. right? One world, one breath, one world, one consciousness. So if you are trying to get to that state, so if my practice every day I'm doing my sadhana to get to that state, now what is happening is my meditation is revealing. It reveals on its own my oneness. I'm not trying to do anything. It just happens. Right? And then with that, you come to seva. How does seva help oneness? How does service help oneness? Is when you come and do service in that state, it stabilizes it. Meditation will reveal your oneness. What service does? It prevents from losing it. It will hold you onto that state of oneness. It will never allow you to go out of oneness. So if I say meditation reveals my oneness, seva stabilizes my oneness. It will never allow me to drop down from that oneness. Because the moment my oneness drops, my ego returns, my identity strengthens, I become the special entity. I need to be given this respect. I am part of this. I am part of that. Why am I not being allowed? Why am I not allowed to talk? Do this, do that. The whole 9 yards of your mind is going to come and sit on that. So you won't be serving at that point. There is no service at that point. It is only you're increasing your self-ego. The doership has to be gone. The attachment to the results has to be gone. Only when you are in that state of oneness, you are able to do those two things. What is true seva means? No expectations, no recognition, no ownership whatsoever. That can only happen when you are in oneness. Worst of the worst, anything might happen. It should not affect you in whatever way or whatever capacity. You should be like that. That's it. I'm here to teach myself. I'm not teaching each of you. If I'm thinking that I am sitting in this chair and teaching you all about the subject of oneness, then I'm not in oneness at all. The most important thing that we have to understand is when you are in the state of oneness, there is no recognition of I. There is no duality. There is no mind game. There is no good, bad. You just say it. That's it. What's the right thing at that moment? You just say it. It doesn't really matter whether somebody feels sorry. You're not a pleasing person. You don't please people. You live by truth, the code of truth. That's it. It doesn't really matter whether they like it or they don't like it. You just say it. You no longer carry that mind-related energies. Remember, when I said mind-related energies, the comparison, the duality, what will happen if I say this? They may be thinking this, they may be thinking that. All that drama is no longer there because you are in the oneness. All you are looking at is the work. That's it. That's all matters. Nothing else matters. If person comes and says, I don't want to work, that's fine. If somebody comes and says, I want to work, that's fine. If everything drops, that's fine too. So this the purpose of us, because what is happening in this process is all these experiences, whatever you are going through in your service, you are stabilizing your oneness. Go ahead, ma'am.
You said there's no recognition, no ownership, nothing in that. Is there any accountability in oneness?
No. See,
no
you just do
there?
No, see, you are not owner. Right? See, there has to be someone in you that has to have the ownership. The doer is no longer there. The work is happening through you as you.
Got it.
When you are a pass-through, when you don't have an identity for yourself, where there is a question of ownership, there is a question of accountability. You are only working for the highest good. Because that is what is flowing through you. So if somebody
Got it.
comes to you
Thank
and
you.
says that why you are doing seva, why you cannot do seva, means the question should be other way around. How can you not do seva? What else is left though? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now,
Thank you.
the other important one, the meditation we spoke about it, the service we spoke about it, and now teaching. How? How does teaching help? Whenever you are teaching something about your experience, that experience, what you have, becomes permanent for you. If I have a state that I have gone through it, now I come out and then I talk about it, I teach about it, then what happens? That state becomes permanent within me. Because when you are teaching, first you are aware. When I am teaching, if I cannot be dominating, right? And you become a channel. You're not an authority that, this is not a material education that I'm saying that, hey, this is how it works, A, B, C, D. This is my logic. I'm telling you, you have to listen to that. There's nothing like that in spiritual teaching. You become a channel, not an authority. So what happens is the knowledge flows through you with your own experience. That's where it becomes a wisdom, right? That wisdom, whatever you have acquired, the knowledge plus the experience. Experience includes that energy that you carried when you got that experience. It comes out as that, and it reaches to the listeners. That's why we keep talking about it in even PSSM. We say that true teaching is not about preaching. It is not about convincing people. It is not about converting people. Right? Why true teaching cannot be converting, why it is not preaching, why it is not convincing is I'm not here to give you that experience. I'm here to share my experience as a witness. So what happens? The sharing happens in silence. It happens in that presence. And with a very simplistic way, you are able to grasp the information. Even in our society, some of the masters will come and say, hey, I like your wisdom, sir. Some say that, your wisdom is way too higher than where I am. Why are all these things coming? And someone may come and tell you that, hey, your wisdom is no, I'm not connected to your wisdom. You are going way too much for me. Why is those so many different versions are there? You cannot speak to every audience the way you want. You cannot be a pleaser. Truth is the truth. If you are not there, you better be there. You don't ask other person not to talk about truth just because you don't understand truth. It doesn't work that way. When we know that truth alone liberates, truth alone prevails, there is nothing other than truth, what else is there to talk though? If you are asking me to talk something else, then you don't know. You are not there. So whenever you are experienced, that's why teaching is the most important thing. That's why in our society we say, teach, teach, teach. Whatever you have learned, please teach. Through teaching, you will permanent your experience. Your state will become permanent for you. You will always be in that state. Whether it's a state of being or state of oneness or state of observer, awareness, whatever it is. So bring that perspective into your daily lives, trying to look at the ultimate goal, the ultimate reality. I don't have any vision to become a master. All I want to be is oneness. I'm not going to ask that I need this, I need that, and all. What I need, what I do not need will shift with time. Today, I may have some strong urge to get something. 5 years down the line, I may not even have that in my mind. So I'm not going to materially ask something where my entire energies are going to get consumed. And after 5 years, look back and say, okay, what have I done? I've done nothing. Now I'm zero. Because my attention is no longer on that, what I achieved 5 years before. So that's why Vivekananda says, ask for something that is of the highest order. Because when you ask that highest order, everything else will form in line. The greater, the higher, the greater the goal yours, the greater the energy system that you carry with you. The higher the goal, the greater the energies. So it is important that we all understand that it is that oneness that we should ask. What Patriji said is oneness. He never talked about anything else. He said that why are you worried? Death, let it go. Let it happen. Why are you worried? I'm not able to understand. He's saying that, okay, as a soul entity, you don't need to sit do idol worships. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. And I'm trying to look at him and say, hey, why is he saying that not to do puja? Why is he saying? Because he's in soul consciousness. I need to come to that state for me to understand why he said it, instead of trying to look at it from down to up to say that why he said it. Right? Instead of rationalizing as to why I cannot do or why I can do, I should try to be in his state to see, oh, what happens. If you come to that state, then you will say, yes, all this is drama. So that is the practice. That's the reason this is a continuous practice, masters. Every single day we have to practice meditation without any conditions. When you sit in meditation, you have to come to your natural state. Do not allow your mind, your body, anything, senses to dictate your journey. Your inner journey is straight to the source. Nothing should block. And meditation releases all those blocks. Allow it to happen. Only when you allow it to happen, it will release those blocks. Instead of releasing the blocks, you will be creating more blocks if you use your mind or senses. Please underline that. It's very important. Forget about oneness. You will become, more into duality. About 4 minutes. Any more questions? Any other? Anyone would like to comment or anything that you want to ask?
It's a very beautiful session, very helpful to us. Can we have like this once in a week at least? More and more in coming weeks.
What do you want? I mean,
Like wisdom sharing. Today you have explained about oneness, right? So like that in spiritual, whatever is required.
So you.
Yeah, Hemlata madam, we have these sessions every Friday, so you can definitely join the link. And every Friday, these sessions are open from 8:45.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're asking for, okay. So yeah, we do every week, man. Every week, Friday, we have this session. We do one session that we talk about one particular subject or topic,
Can we get recording of this session so that I want to re-listen many times to grasp the concepts properly?
Recording, yeah. Recording will be there.
So actually, everyone on the call, right? So we have a YouTube channel called PSSM DMV Oneness. I will share that again in the 41-day challenge. Please do subscribe in the challenge. All these recordings will be available there. So we are live streaming also this one. We'll make some changes, edits like, just add a title to the video and upload it in a day or two. But everything is available. If you subscribe, you'll also get notifications on any new wisdom sharing sessions or everything happening. We have 2 sessions every week. One is in English which is on Friday, just like what you heard. We do also have a session in Telugu that happens on Saturday morning Eastern time, which is like 7:30 or 8 a.m. Eastern time, between 7:30 and 8 a.m. Yeah, I think Sushma madam did share the YouTube channel link. Please do subscribe and you'll get all the information, anything happening.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure,
Yeah.
thanks.
See, our knowledge is, we are not looking for any identity here. But the knowledge and wisdom what Patriji gave us and what all the masters gave us, it is our way of doing service, right? Again, teaching will help us to stabilize. It is kind of an embodiment, right? That we all want to be in oneness. So when you go subscribe to that, it will reach more audience or more listeners who are like-minded people like you and me, and who will be able to get a grab of the subject. And then they may connect with you, they may talk to you, and then you can explain them more details, all that. Go ahead. Somebody.
This is more of a general question. So when, again, not connected to just oneness, but in general meditation question or spirituality question, see, the core purpose of spirituality is to attain that highest sense or the oneness. Then why would there be different styles of meditation or different kinds of spiritual practices too in general? For example, Art of Living has something, PSSM has something, and then Isha has a different style. I don't know, I haven't tried all of them, but I have heard through some of my friends that they're lean towards one, inclined towards one, but not towards the other. Would there be any reason that they are not exactly all the same? Just wanted to get your general perspective.
The simpler answer is yes, ma'am. It is your state and the level that you are in. You will have that rightful choice of the practice. So not everyone will come to oneness, right? Straight. They have to go through their experiences, because it is your inner state that will define what practices you choose. So when you are at the body mind consciousness, you will only choose practices that are more body mind level. When you understand that karma has nothing to do with soul is only here to experience what body mind is going through it, and soul is only a witness, it will never be touched, right? Then you start to go beyond the state of mind. You accept that there is a state beyond mind within you, right? So depending upon everyone's level where you are at, you have certain type of practices. Even puja to some extent is a okay for the masses, because for somebody who does not believe in anything, only living a demonic life, they need structure in their life. They need some kind of humbleness. They need some kind of divinity in their life too, right? For them, yes, there is something called a idol. You worship that idol, you will get some powers. Only with fear they learn it initially, but then slowly that fear will convert into love. So it is your inner that will define your outer practice. So everybody is right at their levels. Whatever is happening right now, if you look at it, somebody is practicing a mind level technique versus a soul level technique, there is no right or wrong. It is about the level. The individual is not at a soul level, that's why he is still at a mind level. Let him go through that experience, then he'll come to the mind level. But since you are in the higher state, you should be able to help them understand, hey, you give your knowledge saying that there is a state beyond mind. When you do a practice like this, you have an opportunity to get there. If a person takes it. If he doesn't take it, that's fine, you move on. So, but practices are there for every level. And it is needed also. Otherwise, there is no evolution, right? Evolution is a gradual progression. The progression happens in a very gradual fashion. For that to happen, you have to have the steps. So, it is important.
Thank you.
Good question. Very good question, actually. All right, Master. I think any other questions? All right. No questions? Then let's
Yeah,
call
no,
it a night.
one thing we want to remind everyone, yeah, tomorrow we are meeting in person. There is a satsang happening here in South Riding at Sushma Madam's place. If you are local around, please do join us. Yeah, and the session starts at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So yeah, please do join us. And as we end the session, I would want to give this food for thought for all of you. Keep thinking about it, right? The purpose of life is not for survival, it is for realization. So keep this with you all the time, wherever you are, no matter, in what situation you are, always remind yourself that your purpose is not for survival. Survival is for animals, not for you. They live with instincts. Human beings does not live with instincts. We have to live with awareness and intuition, right? So keep that. It's a food for thought, but we can conduct next week to talk about it. But otherwise, thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you all tomorrow at satsang. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.